Chosen one. Have you ever asked yourself, why does everything you touch seem to fall apart before it gets better? Why do your efforts crumble, your dreams delay, and your path get darker, even when your heart is right? You've prayed. You've fasted. You've obeyed. But the breakthrough hasn't come yet. This isn't punishment. This is preparation. This is the path of the chosen. God isn't destroying your plans. He's destroying your limits. Because before He builds, He must break. Stay with me until the end of this message, because what you're going through isn't the end of your story. It's the evidence that you're being shaped for something greater. If you believe that, if your spirit bears witness, then subscribe right now to Timeless Bible Stories. This is more than a channel. This is a gathering of the chosen. You want to know why, don't you? Why it seems like every time you move forward, something knocks you 2 steps back. Why doors close when you're finally ready. Why people walk away when you need them most. Let me tell you something, chosen one. You are not cursed. You are not abandoned. You are being processed. Look at the stories of the ones God used the most. They were always broken before they were blessed. Joseph had a dream. But before he wore a crown, he wore chains. David was anointed. But before he ruled, he ran. From caves, from spears, from betrayal. Even Jesus, yes, the Son of God. Before resurrection came the cross. Before glory came the grave. This is a pattern, a divine one. God allows what looks like failure to strip away what is fragile. So only what is eternal remains. You are not losing. You're being leveled. Because God doesn't build on weak foundations. And I know. You're tired. You're wondering if you missed it. If maybe you're not chosen after all. But chosen doesn't mean easy. It means set apart. It means refined by fire. You are not meant to blend in. You are meant to be rebuilt stronger. So when everything you touch breaks, it's not a sign to quit. It's a sign to look again. Because God is in the ashes. He is the one who lets it fall. So He can raise it back up His way. You felt it too, didn't you? Felt what? The silence. The cold stillness. The empty nights. The closed doors. The weight of it all. Like everything you build falls apart in your hands. Yes. It felt like I was cursed. Every step forward broke under me like cracked glass. Every seed I planted died before it saw the sun. But what if I told you, the breaking was a blueprint? A blueprint. But all I saw was failure. Because you were looking with your natural eyes, not with your spiritual ones. God doesn't just build from glory. He builds from rubble. You see ashes. He sees the altar. Then why would He let it break? Why would He let me break? Because what's in you cannot rise until what's around you falls. You were rooted in things too shallow to hold your destiny. God knew if He let your dreams succeed in the wrong soil, they'd choke the promise inside you. But it hurt. The betrayal, the rejection, the losses. I prayed and still, I was torn down. And God heard every cry. But his silence wasn't absence. It was precision. You weren't abandoned. You were being restructured. Restructured. I lost everything? No. You lost what you thought was everything. But heaven never mourns what it removes. The demolition was divine. So all this pain was placement. God was moving pieces you couldn't see. He let the counterfeit collapse so the covenant could stand. But why didn't he just bless me where I was? Because where you were couldn't carry who you're called to become. God doesn't anoint comfort zones. He anoints the wilderness. You weren't buried. You were planted. Then what of the people I trusted? The ones who turned away when I needed them most. They were never anchors. They were assignments. And when their time expired, they couldn't stay another second. God evicted them from your story, even if they left without saying goodbye. Still, I feel like a failure. Nothing I touch works. No. Everything you touch is being purified. Heaven's fire doesn't destroy, it refines. You are gold, but gold must pass through the furnace before it shines. So this breaking season is actually my refining season. Exactly. You are not being punished. You are being positioned. Every no was protecting you. Every closed door was a redirect. Then, what's next? Next is resurrection. But not before the full breaking. Just as Jesus had to die before he could rise, so must your plans. So must your pride. So must your comfort. That's hard to hear. Truth often is. But God isn't building you for applause. He's building you for assignment. This season isn't to impress. It's to prepare. But prepare me for what? For the weight of what's coming. Divine favor is heavy. And God won't place it on shaky foundations. He had to let what you built collapse so he could be the one to build what's next. I think I understand now. The silence. The pain. It wasn't punishment. It was preparation. And now that you've endured the breaking, the blueprint can begin. You want to rise. You want to walk in your purpose. But first God walks you through the wilderness. And the wilderness is not punishment. It is preparation. It is where God teaches you to breathe when all oxygen of comfort has left the room. It is where he teaches you to stand when the world turns its back. It is where he molds your identity, not around applause, but around obedience. Chosen one, the wilderness is holy ground. And few recognize it for what it is. Many see it as abandonment. You feel like God has left you. You pray, and the silence is loud. You knock, and the door does not open. You fast, and still, the breakthrough doesn't come. But listen to me. When God is silent, it doesn't mean he is absent. It means he is watching you from behind the veil. He is checking if your worship is still real. He is asking, will you praise me even when you can't trace me? Will you? Because the wilderness is where false identities die. It's where ego gets stripped. It's where ambition is purified by fire. You thought you were ready. But God knew. You were anointed but not yet broken. Gifted but still too dependent on man's approval. passionate, yes but not yet surrendered. And so God led you into the dry place, the uncomfortable place, the invisible place, not to destroy you, but to make sure what rises later will never fall again. You see, temporary failure is the womb of permanent strength. When your plans collapse, when your efforts fail, God is not laughing at your pain, He is measuring your posture. Will you bow in bitterness? Or will you bend in brokenness? There is a difference. Bitterness will make you complain. Brokenness will make you cry out. Bitterness resists God's pruning. Brokenness surrenders to it. Chosen one, you must be pruned. And pruning hurts. But God only prunes what He intends to grow. Let me tell you the truth no one tells you. God is not building your brand. He is building your backbone. He is teaching you to endure, to outlast storms, to carry the weight of anointing without collapsing under the pressure of attention. Many want the promise. Few want the process. But the process is where God separates the genuine from the gifted. It's where He gives you tears to water your future, and scars to teach you wisdom. Do you understand what I'm saying? Your failure was not a sign of rejection. It was a sign of selection. The rejection was redirection. God closed the door not to punish you but to protect what He is preparing in you. You were asking for promotion. God gave you pressure, because the pressure is what creates diamonds. It's what births depth. The deeper the calling, the deeper the crushing. Look at the olive. It must be crushed to release the oil. Look at the grape. It must be pressed to release the wine. Look at you. You must be broken to release what is holy. Chosen one, this is not the end. This is the turning point. This is where your real story begins. Not the filtered version. Not the Instagram highlight. But the testimony built through fire and wilderness. The enemy wants you to quit here. To believe the collapse means it was never God. But listen to me. The collapse was part of God's construction. Sometimes, God allows what you built to fall apart, so He can build something you never imagined. You asked for blessing. But first, He is building your capacity to carry it. Because what good is a palace if your heart is still a prison? What good is a platform if your soul hasn't been purified? God is not in a hurry. You are. But divine timing isn't about speed. It's about strength. If it comes too soon, you'll think it came from you. But when it comes through fire, you'll know it came from God. And then, you'll carry it differently. You'll walk humbly. You'll bless others from a place of understanding. You'll lead, not from pride, but from the scars that taught you how to kneel. This is not the fall. It's the making. It's the divine delay. It's the sacred silence. It's the holy undoing that comes before the heavenly unveiling. Hold on, chosen one. You're not buried. You're being planted. And soon, you will rise. Not as you were, but as who you were always meant to be. You thought it was over, didn't you? You saw the wreckage of your plans. You watched the door close. And you assumed God had changed His mind. But hear me clearly. God does not change his mind about those he has chosen. His silence was never rejection. It was the sound of preparation. Chosen one, what if I told you that everything falling apart was actually falling into place? That the collapse was not a curse, but a covenant being fulfilled in disguise. The enemy wants you to misinterpret the process. He wants you to call what is holy hardship and call what is divine delay. But you must look deeper. You must see with spiritual eyes. Because what you call loss, heaven calls alignment. What you call rejection, heaven calls redirection. And what you call silence, heaven calls the symphony before your breakthrough. You are being carried. Even when it feels like you are crawling, you are being protected. Even when it feels like you've been forgotten, God does not abandon his vessels. He fortifies them. But here's the truth, chosen one. Before he reveals you, he will conceal you. Before he elevates you, he will excavate you. Dig deep. Expose your fears. Ripped out every root of pride, doubt, insecurity, and self-reliance. Because where he is taking you, you can't afford to carry what once crippled you. Yes, you're tired. Yes, you've cried in silence. Yes, the warfare has been relentless. But you are not losing. You are being stripped. So that when you rise without chains. Don't forget, Moses spent 40 years in a desert before leading a nation. Joseph sat in prison before saving Egypt. David hid in caves before ruling a kingdom. Jesus was nailed to wood before sitting on the throne. You are not the only one who had to break before they were blessed. You are not the only one who had to fall before they rose in power. Chosen one. Heaven uses the low place to prepare you for the high place. And the deeper your valley, the higher your calling. So don't curse the collapse. Don't hate the humbling. Don't despise the silence. It is all part of the divine curriculum. God is teaching you to walk by faith, not applause. To trust the whisper, not the crowd. To obey when nothing makes sense. To kneel before you ever command. And that posture, that surrender, that is what separates the anointed from the appointed. That is what makes you usable in God's kingdom. Because God isn't looking for perfect vessels. He's looking for surrendered ones. For those who will say, even if I lose everything, I still have you. You prayed for elevation. But did you pray for endurance? You asked for favor. But did you ask for fire-tested faith? You wanted the crown. But did you want the cross that comes before it? Because the cost of being chosen is not cheap. It will cost you comfort. It will cost you popularity. It will cost you everything you thought you needed to survive. But it will give you everything God knows you need to reign. Chosen one. You are not disqualified by your collapse. You are defined by how you rise from it. And you will rise. You will rise with a story. You will rise with fire in your bones. You will rise with oil on your hands. You will rise with a sword forged in the shadows. And your enemies will wonder how. They will look and ask, how did they survive that? How did they keep going after losing everything? And the answer will be simple. Because God carried you. Because grace was sufficient. Because when the world gave up on you, heaven stood guard over your soul. So don't fear the ashes. God builds from ashes. Don't resent the silence. He speaks most clearly through the stillness. And don't regret the breaking. For in your breaking, He is birthing something eternal. This is not the end of your story. This is the middle of your miracle. Hold on, chosen one. Because the rise is coming. And it will be holy. It will be undeniable. And it will silence every voice that ever doubted your calling. You didn't come this far to stay broken. You didn't survive the crushing to stay on the ground. Chosen one, the ashes of your past are the soil of your calling. The fire was not meant to destroy you. It was meant to reveal you. And now comes the unveiling. Heaven has been watching. The angels have stood silent as you wept. The Holy Spirit has hovered over you in the dark nights. And now is the moment when what has been hidden is about to be honored. But listen closely. This rising will not look like the world's. This rising is not loud. It's sacred. It's not in the spotlight. It's in the sacred place. God is not raising a celebrity. He's raising a remnant. He's raising a warrior. He's raising someone who knows how to worship when no one's clapping. He's raising someone who doesn't seek the platform, but the presence. You've been stripped, yes. You've been emptied, yes. But that was so He could fill you with something pure, something unshakable, something eternal. You thought you were disqualified. But God says, now you're ready. Ready to speak what others are afraid to say. Ready to go where others refuse to go. Ready to stand where others fall. Do you know what makes you chosen? Not that you were always strong, but that you kept walking even when you were weak. Not that you never failed, but that you kept believing in the dark. That you refused to let the collapse define your destiny. Every loss prepared you. Every no refined you. Every door that slammed was heaven's hand turning your face back to His. He let it fall apart, so you would finally stop building with your own hands. He let it fall apart, so you would stop trusting your own name. And now everything rises on His. Chosen one, your success will not come by striving. It will come by surrender. Your impact won't come from your voice. It will come from His Spirit echoing through your surrender. And your influence, it will not come from your resume, but from your scars. Because scars tell the story. Scars preach louder than sermons. Scars say, I've been through the valley. I've met the shepherd. And I came out with a roar. You are no longer the same. You are no longer fragile. You are no longer searching for validation. You are sealed, set apart, and sent. So let the world wonder. Let the mockers talk. Let the old friends question how you made it out. Because you did. By grace. By blood. By the hand of the living God. Let them see your rise. And never forget the fall that preceded it. Because you are not here by chance. You are not standing by accident. You are standing on every prayer, every tear, every sleepless night you refused to give up. And heaven has documented it all. There is a record of your faithfulness, and it is about to speak for you. You don't need to force anything. You don't need to beg for recognition. Your name is being whispered in rooms you've never entered. Your assignment is being activated in dimensions you haven't seen. The pain, it had a purpose. The silence, it shaped you. The fall, it trained you for the rise. Chosen one, you are about to walk in rooms built from your obedience. You are about to see why it had to be that hard, why it took that long, why you lost that much. Because what's coming would have crushed the old you. But the new you, the one refined in the fire, the one built on the rock of surrender, the one anchored in truth and dripping in oil, that version of you is ready. So let me say it plainly. Everything you touched that fell apart was never meant to last. Everything that was denied was never meant to define you. But everything you are about to touch will carry heaven's fingerprint. Everything you speak will be marked by glory. And everywhere you go will confirm that this was the plan all along. Hold your head high. Walk like you've been chosen. Pray like you've been marked. Live like you've been sent. Because you have. The world has yet to see what God can do through one life that refuses to quit in the fire. And that life is yours. Now go. Rise. Shine. Rebuild. Because the collapse wasn't the end. It was the unveiling of your beginning.